Hello, I'm Toycat and welcome back to another third channel Walk and Talk video. Today I'm in the United States of America. To be more precise, I'm in New York, New York. The city's so nice, they named it twice. And I wanna, honestly, they didn't name it twice though, did they? The state is just also called New York, maybe named after that city. The state is so nice that they have decided to name it twice, you could say. But anyway, the point I wanted to raise today is not about New York, New York. It's instead about this. This is Times Square. I was walking down Broadway when I came across this, and I was like, oh yeah, that's there. I came here, I want to say like 5 years ago, and it's a place everyone goes when they're in New York, right? It's a place only for tourists, and it's super interesting to me because the very existence of just this big square is a breaking of one of the fundamental rules of New York, and that fundamental rule is that it's a grid system. It is one of the biggest grid cities in the world, in fact. It might be the biggest, you can correct me on that one. But the way that Manhattan works is there are avenues that go this way, and then there are streets that go this way. There's hundreds of streets going this way, and there's something like 10 avenues going this way. And so the interesting thing about Times Square is that it happens because Broadway, that diagonal street you can probably see because the buildings are no longer square, Broadway hits this grid system, and so it creates these big squares which they paved over and they're made into a great tourist attraction. And obviously we can talk about the fact that when you come here, rules don't really get followed either. Like the amount of strangers that'll come up to you and like, see, this feels like a rule being broken. I don't know what rule it is, but I don't like it. What is going on there? Anyway, so the entire place, we can talk about all sorts of rules being broken quite easily. But the very existence of the place is the result of a rule break. And it got me thinking, because I stumbled here by accident. It's kind of fun. It's a lot less dramatic, because didn't you know have you heard about the current crisis? I bet you haven't until just this video. But it's a very interesting thing. It's maybe less interesting right now, but that's what makes it so interesting to me. But I want to talk about rules being broken because I had this experience with when leaving Mexico and getting into the United States. I was super terrified because last time I entered, I went into an interrogation room for 3 hours. It was super nerve-wracking. It was terrible, and yeah, everything was fine in the end. If you're curious, I had to show my bank accounts to get into the country last time, as well as a bunch of other questions and not very fun things. But let's continue walking down Broadway, I guess. But basically, I had such a hard time getting in last time that I was super nervous about coming into the United States this time, and it was super easy to get in. Again, like I said, I've done the whole very, very in-depth background checks that I had to pay for, and so the United States believes I am a low enough risk to let me in. Isn't that nice of them? For up to 3 months at a time, as indeed anyone else has the right to do. But like rights and rights are very different things, right? And so there's an interesting, I guess rights is the wrong word. It's entering into a country. The ability to versus the ability. Again, I don't want to pretend I have a right to be here. I am here at the behest, at the will of the government. That's a very fun Krispy Kreme store. See, because of the fame of this place, everyone does like something special around here. And it's nice. I think more people should do nice special things all the time. Just make things fun, you know? I'm glad that exists here. But anyway, so I was super nervous, but it was a really, really fast process at the end. I walked, should I just cross the road then, or? It was a really simple process. It took maybe half a second to get into the United States. I literally took a picture of myself and that was it. And it was kind of crazy to me that like the contrast between taking 3 hours of intense, I guess, anxiety versus half a second, oh yeah, have a nice day. In fact, he didn't even say have a nice day. He just took it and was like, this way. Just one hand gesture. That was how I got into the United States this time. And it's an interesting contrast because the reason that works is because of all the background rules about like they know everything about me. They like to prove they have everything about you on the little picture they take, but like they knew my everything plus the flight I was on somehow. I guess they have but it was really weird. They could just take a picture and have all of my information on a piece of paper. That's spooky, but again, I signed up for that spooky. But the thing that's more interesting than that, if we don't get too off topic here, is in my opinion, the much spookier thing is what happened when I left Mexico. You might know I was in Mexico for 2 weeks, and again, for visa reasons. And when I left Mexico, the person who takes your your exit entry, because when you enter Mexico, you get this piece of paper. You have to have that to leave. It is a requirement. And so the person taking that on the way out of Mexico, they check your passport and they match it against the name. But what he literally said is, we're not, like I was about to open my passport and he's like, no, we're not checking passports because we're running late. And my flight was in fact running late. He was correct about that, and he probably helped to not exacerbate the situation anymore. It was only, despite the plane getting there like an hour late, the flight only left about 20 minutes late. It was great. They did a very good job of getting everyone aboard that plane as quickly as they could. But the way that they did that, in my opinion, is super interesting. They just didn't check passports because they were running late. And it's an interesting one because, again, in the moment, I think it's one of those decisions I can't get over, as far as like, it either means that they lowered the security amount to hurry up the speed amount, which again I think is a trade-off we make in all of our lives all the time. But we all pretend when it comes to borders and when it comes to airports, there is no amount of that exists. You do not speed up the process because the process is there for safety. I'm gonna air quotes everything here, but like that's the idea. That's why people submit to those searches. By the way, just to prove that point about streets, we're on West 51st Street right now. You can measure how far you're walking in New York by how many streets go past you. And this lovely 24-hour McDonald's, apparently. Anyway, so the thing to me that is so interesting about this story, because I'm definitely not selling it correctly. It's fine. It's a third channel video. Don't really care about your opinions, sorry. I do care about your opinions, and that's why I pretend I don't care about them. So you'll think I'm cool, and you'll think this is deliberately messing up, and not me using this as a way to work on my long-form speech abilities. But the interesting thing about that story is it indicates, it's this compromisability, which I think is so important in humans. Having the ability to be like, you know what? Is it work? Because they didn't check passports, but in reality, to get to that point, you have to show your passport to a check-in agent. If you don't show it to a check-in agent, I don't know if you can do this right now, but in normal times, you could put it in a machine, and the machine reads your passport and it gives you your ticket. Like, to get your ticket at an airport, at least of an American airline, inside of Europe, it's different, but that's different type of international. But like, to go on an international flight, they want to see your passport if they're going to give you a ticket. And so basically everyone, if you have a ticket, that means that someone's verified your passport almost certainly. Like, the only way you could mess things up is if you traded tickets with someone else. So like, you could show your passport for a flight to America, someone shows their passport for a flight to Canada, you're not eligible to get into Canada, they're not eligible to get into America, you switch tickets, and then your passports, a Canadian passport's blue, I imagine they are, but you switch tickets, your passports look the same, and then boom. That's how that one works, right? So in theory, that could happen if you don't check the exact name on the passport versus the exact name on the departure card. And boom, now they're in a trouble because that person doesn't know they're not allowed into their country until they get there. Again, that is, someone has to do something nefarious. They have to do it. They have to know the system works that way, and then also they don't get any benefit because they just get turned away from the country, and they've probably committed a crime in there somewhere. If I'm being entirely real with you, yeah, I'm not gonna cross. Okay, I'm gonna cross. It's cross time. What's happening here, do you think? There is 99-cent pizza, a bunch of cameras, and then there's rapid COVID testing. Wonder if there's any lineup between these things. Huh, interesting. Anyway, so the thing that I find interesting is like they opened up a hole in their security, a hole that no one needs to know about or care about. And again, in reality, any party involved can just be like, yeah, if someone comes here and they're not eligible, we can still turn them away. It's just the first line of defense against all those sorts of things is usually that. And in fact, oh, here's a more nefarious one actually. If you, no, but there'd be no way you'd get, yeah, you could, okay, if you win someone with a Canadian ticket, switched tickets, you could have a negative COVID test that you don't need to enter. No, you need a negative COVID test for Canada. Okay, if you and someone going to Panama, let's say, where I'm assuming negative COVID tests aren't required. Honestly, they probably are too. But if you were traveling to a country without a negative COVID test requirement, then you would be able to Is this video just talking about ways you could abuse this system? Yeah, screw it, why not? What are you gonna do about it, internet? These are things I find interesting. These airtight rules exist in such a way that they have redundancy, but like not 100% redundancy. And so when you ignore the rules, most people believe that it's fine anyway. But like, you open up these little gaps, right? So if you're flying to a country that doesn't require a COVID test, and someone else is flying to the United States, which does require a COVID test, you switch tickets, or you enter on a Panama ticket, but you also have an American ticket. I don't know what you're doing here, but basically, you could get someone into the United States without a COVID test by doing that, I guess. And so, I guess that's the one flaw, because you know they don't check an entry; they rely on the airlines checking those test results. Even that, you know, they're legally required to enter, but the way they enforce that is they get the airline to not let you on a plane unless you have one. As best I know, maybe there's some more complex system going down, which would prohibit the exact niche scenario I'm talking about when the flight is running late and they decide not to check passports. But then it raises the question of like, okay, if they do have 100% redundancy, and this is a measure that has no bearing, why do you do it normally? If they self-profess that it takes more time than not doing so, if actually checking someone's passport to match the name against the exit card, which by the way, that's ignoring the Mexican security concerns, right? Like their exit checks were compromised by the people being fast. Whether they authorized that or not is a different question, right? But the thing, it's funny to be like, you could have gone to America without a COVID test and then cuff, right? This video is all a very elaborate confession. I'd like to clarify, it's not a very elaborate confession. I had to go for a lot of effort to clarify I was in fact a not risky person. And one of those things is that, ooh, the New York State Gaming Commission. You know what makes me sad? The word gaming can mean like, obviously what you think if you're on this channel. It'd be wacky if you somehow found this channel and you've never heard of Minecraft, or indeed never heard of video games, which you'd have to, anyway, but gaming in the real world mostly means gambling. I had this big issue once. I used to write for a living. I don't think I was a very good writer. Like, my writing skills are like, I realize this every now and then, like I consider like retraining it, but like, I don't write to be impressive now. I just write to convey words to people, and that's a problem. You gotta write to impress in the real world. It's just I don't have. When you're trying to impress someone, you have to write so that you impress someone. Maybe I should care more about impressing my audience, is what I'm saying. But anyway, so I used to be a writer. I'm not a very good writer, but I used to be one anyway. Maybe I wasn't a good writer as well. Who knows how any of this works. Anyway, so that was just I wanted money. And that's one of the easiest, like, low-skill ways you can make money. Like, being able to write good English words. It's a thing everyone has the ability of. Too averse to risk, to chance the lottery, yet steps into traffic. That's good, is that? Oh, that is a New York City Department of Transportation thing. Can you see that? I hope you can. That's good. That's clever. Let's step into traffic. Let's, that is actually I like that a lot. It's a simple little slogan, but it probably, when you do simple little changes like that in a city like this, reducing traffic fatality rates by 1%. In most places, you don't notice that for like decades. I feel like in New York City, you notice a 1% decrease in traffic deaths, like on the month-by-month basis, right? Or I guess traffic accidents. There's probably only still dozens of people dying from traffic every month, but it's interesting stuff, right? Anyway, so I used to write, and the gambling thing threw me off, because I used to, like, my favorite thing to write about, something I enjoyed, is I used to enjoy writing about anything sort of games. So I'd say I'm a gamer. I can write about games, video games, I learned later I have to write video games, even though you can find video gambling, but video gambling is not the same as video games. But video gaming is different to gaming, as it turns out, in most situations. Weird stuff. Anyway, but before I realized that, I'd advertise my services on various forums where people wanted these things. And I'd be like, yeah, can write about gaming. And so I got one. I bet I could find the name of the place. I think it's called like the Bulldog Casino. The Bulldog Casino was like, yeah, we need you to write 1,000 words about gaming. And I was like, heck yeah. And then they gave me like they gave me a proper formal little assignment draft thing, like a piece of paper. I don't know what the word for that would be, like a brief, I guess. They gave me a very formal brief, and they're like, so you got to write about this type of, and I was like, oh no, they made me write about gambling. I got tricked, and so I tried anyway. If I'm not mistaken, I writ it. Yeah, I'm so good at writing. I know what the past tense of writing is. But if I'm not mistaken, oh, look at this, by the way. We are now, I think we've ended. I think Broadway is gone. If it's not gone, it's turned into a roundabout. Isn't that fun? I mean, it's gone in the sense that it doesn't exist anymore. Also, by the way, this is a roundabout in New York City. Look at that. Looks like they do know how roundabouts work after all. You know, Americans, they feign ignorance when it comes to roundabouts. But here I see them doing a good job of it anyway. You know, gotta applaud good design. As we all know, grid cities are significantly more dangerous than roundabout cities. If we're talking about 1% by putting up a piece of art to stop people dying, it's many dozens of percent. If you're talking about roundabouts versus intersections. Oh, that's mostly like car and car deaths. I have an interesting feeling about, like, there's a fun difference. No, wait, I'm going to talk. Yeah, you know, there's a fun difference between when you take on a risk for yourself and that risk goes off, versus when you take on a risk for society and that risk comes off, right? Like, if you drive a car and you hit someone and you die, you know, that's a type of risk that's like manageable. Like, you know, I don't think I would ever forbid you from doing that to yourself. Even though you dying is technically a loss for society, I think it's a bigger loss for yourself. And so you're incentivized the right way. If you're incentivized against death, you're probably gonna do the right things. Oh, this is Central Park. That's nice. I want to say one of these towers. No idea how you know which one. If we're in the west end of Central Park, that must mean that the big old Trump Tower is around here, right? Could be wrong about that. Doesn't matter anyway. We're going into the park. We're gonna go for a nice park walk. Do you like that idea, internet? I bet you do. So, isn't that? By the way, Central Park is like huge. It's like ludicrously sized. I have tried to walk it before, and it was not a smart idea. So let's go walk for it now. So you got to dismount and walk wheeled devices. You know what that is? That is e-scooter discrimination. I will not stand for it. Anyway, so the thing about that decision, I decided, like, you know what? It's not my forte, but I do want money. You know, 1,000 words. It's funny. I always the amount I get paid a word was always like a cent. I was always like excited if it was like 1.5 cents a word, or, you know, cent and a quarter. The big jobs, the one I cherished, were like 2 cents a word. And it's funny to look at it's funny when you look online and you see people who talk about writing being like, oh, only paid $1 a word, or like, you know, 10 cents a word. What a ripoff! How am I gonna, you know, make ends meet? And like, admittedly, it probably is some multiple better work than I was doing writing about subjects I had no experience in. For what it's worth, the casino, the Bulldog Casino, I think that's the name of it, they did reject my piece. I didn't get paid in the end. I did work and I didn't make money. You know, there's a moral from the story in that, but the more interesting moral, because I did a few pieces of writing about things I had no clue about because they were the only jobs available at the time, and so I decided to do it. The interesting thing about this little story is this decision you have to make in life. Everyone reaches this sometime. Not everyone. Most people reach this sometime, and everyone comes to slightly different conclusions. Oh, this is fun. There's squirrels everywhere. There's also a horse. Should we just look at animals all day? That seems like a good idea for a video. You know, do you really want to hear about my stories, or do you want to see squirrels? I'll give you a clue. It's the second one, isn't it? But oh, look, he's looking for a nut he's buried. Or maybe he's burying a nut. I don't know what time of year it is. Yeah, it's probably look for nut season, right? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that squirrel. He's very adorable. Anyway, so oh man, I wanna get an e-scooter. That you can't rent them here. You have to like go like short term. You have to rent them long term. It's funny. It's literally the exact opposite of the UK in terms of legality. You cannot short term rent. You can only long term rent or own. Whereas in the UK, you can only short term. Oh, look at this little bird. He's tiny. I've never seen a bird that small. He's like so fat too. Like what's going on with you? Anyway, so the interesting decision everyone has to make at some point is this cross between passion and let's be honest, money. You know, like my favorite thing to do, especially in my teenage years. It might have changed now. I think I like eating so much that I like activities that lead to more eating. I like walking around cities, for instance, because it's not only interesting visual stimuli, like you might be able to argue a video game provides you. Maybe not these days, but it's interesting visual stimuli. You know, it's food for thought. But at the same time, how's that? Anyway, at the same time as providing those things, it's then also burning some calories via this leg and hand movement that I can then later put on. I had the best BLT bagel for breakfast this morning. I'm excited. I'm going to this restaurant. It's not even a restaurant. It's like there's a place I saw when I was about to hop on the train this morning. It's called the automatic kitchen or something. So it's like tablets, and then there's like a basically there's no person involved. It's the joke I always make about going and just getting the food from the kitchen yourself, except it like really exists as a sit-down restaurant, and it's fun. It's fun. Anyway, so the decision between passion and money, because we all need money to survive, but also we all output passion. You know, we need money, but we output passion. I would argue we actually output a lot of things, but to keep things simple, we need all the things which money can buy. We also need a lot of emotional needs, and then we output passion alongside a lot of terrible things like manure and, I don't know, angry thoughts and, I don't know, squirrel deaths. But the point here, depending on the sort of person you are, I guess, the thing, there's meant to be some bouldering in Central Park. Okay, no, we're staying in point. The thing that therefore you have to realize is what matters more, what you want to give to the world or what the world wants from you. That bird literally had a worm, by the way. They say the early bird gets the worm, and I guess that's the early bird. I guess in New York, 10:43 will make you an early bird. But I don't know where this joke is going. But I do know that you're deciding what's more important, what you want to give versus what someone wants from you. In other words, what you want to give or what someone wants you to give. It's a decision you have to make in pretty much all relationships in your life. Like, you know, like to some extent, you make it with a romantic partner, you make it with your friends, you know? Like if your friend suggests that you want to go to a restaurant that you're only neutral on, whereas you want to go to a restaurant they're only neutral on, or like, you know, like, well, you know, let's say you want to go to a restaurant they want to go to, you know, mostly as well, but they really want to go somewhere that you're only neutral on. Do you go to the restaurant with them? And you know, do you just go, no questions asked? Do you go but under the assumption that like, yeah, but of course we're gonna go to my favorite place. I wanna go to this bagel place. So I mentioned in this video, Easter Bagel, by the way. It was a very confusing bagel place. I don't know how it's a confusing bagel place. You'd figure bagel places can only have some layer of complexity, but I had no idea what I was ordering until about a minute in. And I had no idea, like, the amount I thought it would cost was very different to the amount that it cost. I don't understand anything about ordering bagels there. If you want a complex process, if you think to yourself, I want food, but I want to spend about a minute working out how it works first, Easter Bagel, it's on 33rd Street, might be 34th Street. It's on 30-something Street. But the decision you have to ultimately be making in there is, do you care about what someone wants from you, or do you care about what you want from someone? And the actual reality is you're making trade-offs between those two things all the time. But society kind of, you know, like that relationship exists in a friendship. It exists in a relationship. Like, you know what? Lots of terrible places I can take this one. Let's go to all of them. You know, you wanna do a thing. There's a thing you want so bad, and they really don't want to do the thing. Maybe you like that they don't want to do the thing. Is this going the wrong place? Yeah, screw it. But do you do the thing anyway, and then balance it out from the other things that you take, or do you not do the thing because you never want to have a thing from society? And so there's a relationship example. let's go with, I guess your parents is also like that. I read a Reddit thread this morning about, it was like, how much money do you send to your parents? And obviously, I think especially in the developing world, where, you know, it's called the developing world, they're very rapidly growing. You as a generation will be significantly richer than the one before. I'd say in the West, we've kind of flattened out, like 2% GDP growth a year or something is like fast now, you know? The interesting thing here is that, you know, like they are, you know, like you might be 5 times wealthier than your parents, even if you're only double, you know, or earned 5 times as much as they did at the same stage in their career. And so like, they're gonna, you know, if your parents are poor, should you help them out? Of course. Whereas we're from a world where not only are our values slightly different, but they're partially different also because we're from a society where, you know, you are likely to be about the same amount of wealth as your parents, and relative to everything, you know, housing included, you're probably going to be less well off. If you grab the minimum wage job air quotes of today, and you try to, let's say it's in a city somewhere, you will not be able to afford a house, you know, to rent. Your whole salary probably doesn't pay for a house. Definitely doesn't if it's minimum wage in any city. And if you're lucky, you get yourself a studio apartment to share. More likely, you're getting, you know, multiple bedroom apartment, and you're renting one of the bedrooms. And I think it's called flat sharing in the UK. I forget what it's called here. House sharing. There's roommates, I think, maybe. Anyway, so the thing about this, you know, I need to start turning left. And I actually do need to get on a subway line. I've got a video I'm recording later. I'm warming up my lips. Do you like this? Yeah. Internet, you thought this video, I was making it for you. I had some profound things to say. This video is all for me. This is a video I want to put into the world. And you're consuming it like the idiot you are. This is all my pleasure right now. If you're getting enjoyment from this, it's not even my intention. Not even my intention. But yeah, as a society, you have to ask the same question. Also, wait, the parent thing is like, should you give money to your parents who are less well off than you? Even if they are more well off than you, should you be giving them money anyway because they brought you into this world and everything, right? That's what people say. I don't know if I've ever seen video of that, but they did make you exist, which is apparently a big deal. People, I feel like it's like kind of a joke, but also like people really don't like being alive, right? That's a very common thing, especially in current mental health crisis. So given that people don't like being alive, did they really do you a favor by bringing you into the world? Did they really? But assuming they did, because, you know, like on an objective level, of course they did, right? Like the life is of all the universe is, you know, 7 billion years old. It might be trillion, honestly. The fact that I don't know if it's billion or trillion tells you a lot by itself. But universe is billions of years old, maybe thousands of billions. And of all the times you could be alive that we know of so far, which is now in the past, this is the best time to be alive. And your parents somehow made you exist there. Of course they didn't object, and you know, like, you know, when your daddy does something to your mummy that your mother doesn't like, but she does it for him because she values their relationship more than the thing in the moment. There are tens of millions of potential lives released, and then over a woman's life, I want to say there's thousands of eggs in there. It's a pretty finite number. There's like 1,000 eggs, and that perfect sperm hitting that egg, and then over the next few months not miscarrying like most pregnancies do. That happening led to you, and admittedly, you know, again, that's why, like, they argue, oh yeah, they did this really nice thing bringing into the world, but did they really? Or did they just, you know, they were bored, they had some spare money, they could afford a child. They want the fun moments of taking a child to the water park. They want a fun moment of teaching a child not to steal, or whatever people enjoy in parenthood. You can tell that I'm not a parent, right? And that I'm not sure I intend to be one right now. But yeah, I could spend forever talking about do you deserve to exist? Was that a burden? Is existing a burden on you, or is it the greatest gift? And it's like, well, it's both, isn't it? It's both. It's very clearly both. And that sounds like it makes no sense, but it's true. Just like society wants from you two things. It wants you to do something you're great at. It wants you to do something you care about and you're passionate about and you're always getting better with. But also, you know, it wants that, don't get me wrong. What it also wants from you is it wants you to contribute. You know, you need to produce some economic value. You know, let's be the internet and be like, oh, it's capitalism that really, all the bad things that economic-wise, there is it's the capitalist system really wants you to do some things for the system. It's crazy that way. But you know, you get me? That's what the world wants. And you have to decide at some point, like, whether you follow the narrative we tell ourselves, that you should only do something you love on all levels. This is a very interesting park, by the way. Look at this. This is like sidewalk, I guess you'd call it. Park behind a fence, though. Then there's a second sidewalk here. And then after this second sidewalk, there is a third little sidewalk here. And then after this, there's a bike lane only. And then after that, there are car lanes. This is such an interesting way for a road to be made. Man, Central Park's nice. I see why people would like having this be their local park. But yeah, at some point you have to decide between passion and value, right? Between what you want from the world and what the world wants from you. And I think there's an interesting little quirk to this, in that maybe it's like a one-way system. Like you walk this way, go in here. I don't understand how any of this works. If I'm trying to get it, don't get it. But yeah, if you exist, as I am sure you do, as I assume you do, you have to make that decision at some point. And people and you know, when even saying that is simplifying it too much, between the thing you want to do most and the thing the world needs from you most. But it's actually much more of a sliding scale, right? There is this, everything in life can either fulfill your passion meter, or it can fulfill your, it can fulfill your passion meter, or it can give to your economic bar, whatever that means. Don't ask me what that means, even though I just said it. And examples of this would be, to me, you know, that I just desperately needed money as a teenager. I didn't, there was not any around where my mother was. I felt bad when I learned she was like deeply in debt. Like I could never take any money from her ever. And even, you know, even if I wanted it, there wasn't any money to give, or much money to give. She'd always try, and that's a cool thing in the parent-child bond, right? Having no money but desperately wanting to give your child some anyway, despite not having any technical obligation to. But the other thing that's interesting is that, like, even though I have no idea where we are, but these parks look fun. I would love to be a kid and run around them. You know, would love to have a kid one day so I could watch them run around and I get the secondhand joy. Because as an adult, you're not allowed to run around children's parks without getting in some serious trouble. But as an adult, you stand there, you watch some children, you get that secondhand enjoyment. And that's the basis of our civilization, am I right? Anyway, so there are some pigeons here. Would you like to look at them? The life is much more of a sliding scale between passion and value or whatever. And the example was, I needed to make money. I could have done any odd job that came my way, and I tried a lot of different things, honestly, but I realized that I was better at writing than all of the other things. Like, again, I, as a teenager, just needed to do anything that could pay. I can't do graphic design. I not only don't have the talents, I don't have the eye for it. I can't, even when today even, when I like want something designed, I'm just like, look good and be about this. Like I don't have like visual ability. I'm not a very visual person. When it comes to, like my brain isn't visual. You know, there's that fun experiment where it's like, imagine a chair, now flip the chair. I find it so hard to spin that chair, to rotate it, you know? Maybe you find that interesting, maybe you don't. But what you should find interesting is this video, am I right? But so like the thing I could do is I could write very effective, you know, like I liked writing, I was good at it, so I enjoyed doing it. And the cute little birds. And so since that was what I could do, that was what I was good at, I preferred doing that. If even when I found other jobs that were easy, I was like, I'm gonna like build my portfolio, I'm gonna build my thing here. And then so like within the things I could have done, there were lots of other weird tasks people wanted. Copywriting is a thing. And copywriting, whenever I hear it, I'm like, oh, you want me to go to the copy office? No, they want you to take a piece of text and they want you to rewrite it in such a way that the, you know, like algorithms won't detect it as being the same work. And obviously, that's very easy to do. You just gotta take the same information and rewrite that same information. They don't want new information, they don't want better information, they want the same exact text basically, but they want that same text to be you know, non-discoverable. You're copywriting to avoid copywriting actually, which I think is funny. I didn't enjoy that. I wasn't great at it, so I didn't do it. I also didn't enjoy writing about subjects I didn't know anything about. I can talk about gaming like for a long time. Maybe not so much anymore, but like I could just and then within games, which was like my little niche, where I was getting paid a cent a word, and I was happy with that. You're at 1,000 words, you get $10. That's incredible. That's like £7 an hour. At the time, that was higher than minimum wage if I wrote fast enough. And which is why it's so funny to hear people be like, you know, you're doing this for less than 25 cents a word. How are you making a living? It's like, I can only imagine we're getting paid $250 for an hour worth of work would be like. Actually, no, I can't only imagine. When I stream, it's not like it doesn't work like an hourly job because, you know, it drops off very quickly. But I feel like some hours when I'm streaming, I'll get $250 in tips. Although actually, then like a lot of those are via YouTube, so you lose 30%, and then you lose 40-something% on taxes. So you know what? Just you know, half is the simple number everyone uses once you take everything away when you're running a business. But still, getting it's interesting to hear the differences in people's expectations, but it's also interesting to realize that everything in life has this vaguely sliding scale. The sliding scale between you know, what you want to do and what you need to do. And the cool thing that I'm kind of glad about is how what I wanted to do has mostly lined up with what I need to do. I think I'm very fortunate in that way. You know, there's a lot of things people call me fortunate for. The luck on YouTube, you know, the very high salary relative to the country in which I live. The fact that, you know, even you wanna look at my ghostly colored skin. Yes, that is the infamous swimming pool house causing neighbors so much distress. Wealthy Manhattan couple caused neighbors to flee the Upper West Side due to incessant noise caused by their $100 million basement swimming pool. What is this? What have we just found? Noise isn't strong enough, mindless hell and chaos will be better. I hope to outlive this, I may not. This is fascinating. I want to come back to this sometime. In the comments, tell me fun facts about what this is. Because it's funny, I'm walking past the loud $100 million basement, and there's noise that is incredibly loud. I need to, you know what, comments? I'm gonna forget by the time I finish this. I'm going straight to record a video on the north end of Manhattan. But I wanna hear about that. You know what else I wanna hear about? The fun spectrum, where you fall on it, where you think's perfect. Do you think you should go all passion? Do you think you should go all what people want from you? I think actually, you know, one of the things I want to do, I don't think I'm ever going to do it because being involved in politics and entertainment is a terrible idea for everyone involved. But I've always wanted to make a series kind of like explaining, like so many people, because your politics are very heavily influenced by where you grow up, and so many people only hear the side of politics from, you know, like the people living in deep red counties hear the red side of politics and how it's the greedy other side doing this. People in the deep blue cities only ever hear about the terrible, misogynistic, all the words, all the bad words, all the words that mean you don't even consider the other side, right? I love to like take every issue and one by one break down, like, these people believe this, here's the reason why. These people believe this, there's the reason why. I think like communication between the political sides is like something the world would be healthier with. And I enjoy doing it. But also, again, both those people will be like, how dare you humanize the other side? How dare you explain what they believe in a non-inflammatory way? Do you want people to vote for the side that wants me dead? That's right, they are literally killing me, the other side. Literally. Yeah, ignoring the... And you call people hyperbolic when they say that they're literally gonna die. And then they come up with the perfect example of how actually, yeah, like, there is a man who will come around my house with a gun if this does not happen. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. We're back on the streets of Manhattan. As a fun fact, we're on West 71st Street now. I forget where we started, but that's how many streets we walked today. There's 100 something streets in Manhattan, and then the numbering system stops for some reason. And we're going deep into the hundreds today. If I can find a subway, actually. I kind of want to end in the subway. There's something, okay, you know what? This is me being weird. This is me trying to share something I enjoy with the world for no good reason, because no one else enjoyed it as much as me. It is almost certainly a fact that is true. But let's run across this street. Something I enjoy is like seeing people get, like this like first person perspective in cities is cool, but what's cooler than that is, okay, let's see, where is the newest, okay, the next metro stop, just up ahead, easy. We're trying to catch the 1, the 2, or the 3. If we get on something else, we'll just see where it takes us, I guess. But these walk and talk videos are great. The one thing I feel like they're lacking, mostly for my own confidence of talking to myself on public transport, is like, because what I love is it's like, most people can't walk around most cities right now. Partially travel, you know, let's be honest, partially because you don't want to, for whatever reason, partially because of travel restrictions, right? You are literally unable to head to the sorts of places you would love to go. But even normally, it's just very expensive to go places. You probably can't go to the places you want to go. And so being able to like look at what it's like to walk through a city, it's cool. There's something about it I enjoy, and I like sharing it with people. My words have been terrible today, but mute the video and just look at the surroundings, I guess, you know? I wish I could get you can't, I want like I'm thinking like gaming here. I'm like, I could get a separate microphone for the outside world, a separate microphone for my commentary, and then like mix them together. That's not how any of that works though. So, too used to video games. If we talk about video games for an hour, I could do that. I wouldn't get paid very well. It's funny actually, just for an interesting, you know, I don't know why I'm proving with this comment, but I find it interesting, so I'm gonna share it, and then you can prove something yourself inside your mind. But the amount I'd get paid to write 1,000 words about something I liked and I enjoyed, you know, I'd get paid about $10 for that. You know, 1 cent a word, 1,000 words roughly. It'd actually be like 983 words. I'd even, you know, it's funny, like I was, this is how hungry I was. I was like, you know what? They say roughly 1,000 words, but they're paying you a cent per word, and you know, they give you like a margin of 10%. So instead of doing 985 words, I'd do like 1,037. I'd get paid $10.37 rather than $9.85 for that. And I'd be like, yeah, killing it. But yeah, for this video, average walk and talk video makes about $2. So this is roughly an hour's work. A little bit more by the time you do editing and uploading, right? And so maybe you find it interesting that current day Toy Cat will work for $2 an hour, while past Toy Cat insists on getting $10 by working hard. And I think the actual difference is like how hard you're working, right? But let's not go into that. Let's just pretend that Toy Cat's very bad at bargaining with himself about the sort of work he needs to do. This street looks diagonal. Is it diagonal? Maybe we're back on Broadway, actually. So there's meant to be a metro around here somewhere. I don't see it, though. Do you see it? I don't see it. Oh, let's just cross the street. It can't be too far, right? Maybe? I don't know how any of this works. Is it back there? I think it's back there. I see signs that look, yeah, that's it, back there. This isn't embarrassing at all. But, oh look, Cafe Metro. That's why I said metro instead of subway. I'm sorry, Americans. I feel like metro is the international word, and subway is the New York word. So if you're like in the New York area, you call them all a subway. It's interesting stuff. I guess sometimes I call them just underground trains, even though not all metros are underground. The subway is underground though. You know, there aren't many subways that are in subways though. I feel like that's a missed marketing opportunity. But yeah, I think one of the things that, like, trying to, like, working out the things you want to do most is actually a hard task. It's a task in and of itself. Like, every morning, knowing what you want to do is hard. Like, knowing what you can do is hard enough, but much harder in my opinion. Oh no, I was wrong. I was reading a sign. I don't know where I'm headed now. Maybe it is just I have to go one street over. Okay, I'm gonna check my little map. I can get on a bus, honestly, right? Okay, we're gonna. Yeah, no, it was up that way. Well, you know what? This video will stay until this happens. Okay, I'm definitely walking around erratically now. We'll just walk back up the street. It'll be fine. It'll be great. Do you want to see run and talk videos? I want to do run and talk videos. Yeah, I'm running out of battery, so I want to do this all in one take. Oh, technically I don't have to do this in one take. I have to edit this anyway, because the GoPro has a max file size of like 3.79 gigs, and so it's cutting every now and then into a separate video file. Very annoying if I can say so myself. But I need to find like a program that can automatically stitch them together, make my uploading process a little bit easier. We're gonna run some more. Okay, we're going this way, north one street, and then we'll see where we get to, I guess. Okay, so a thing, an interesting thing, you might even say. The promise inside Hazel is greater than the poverty around her. Isn't that beautiful? Oh wow, look, I think this is the subway. It's like a nice subway entrance. They're usually just like little staircase things. How am I meant to get in there? It's like across a busy road. You know, it's fine, it's fine. I'm gonna get in there. I didn't realize the subway ever had nice exits. I thought it was just all terrible little staircases on the street. Should we go for the famous hot doggery? I don't know that we should. Nobody but nobody serves a better frankfurter. Braised papaya, simply the best. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So what I like, and don't ask me why, but what I like the idea of is like seeing the experience of getting on and off a metro service. And so today, you'll see precisely that. I'm gonna get on the subway, I'm heading north, I'm pretty sure, and I'm gonna do that by crossing this road. Did they build this little middle section just for the subway, or how does any of this work? Oh, we are on Broadway, by the way. This whole video was just a distraction from walking down Broadway. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, yes it is. By the way, yeah, like one of the things when you go to a city, take a walk around it. Just go for a walk, see what you see. Finding things by accident is so much better than finding things on purpose. And I sometimes wish it wasn't that way, but it is. So work it out, you know? Okay, I got my mask on. I've got my subway is closed for disinfecting from 2 AM to 4 AM. Entry 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we swipey our Metro card. Swipe again. Go. And then we go uptown on the Bronx. And we're getting on the 1, the 2, or the 3. I don't know which one. So I guess we just get at whatever comes here first. Oh, Do we want the express? Ah, probably. Makes sense that we would, right?
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.